Oh, here we go! 2019 Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. It's the penultimate match. This was one of two matches that when I saw the pairings reveal, I wanted to be in on. Whether it was on the microphone, whether it was being the smooth tracker, or out in the crowd, I didn't care. I was not going to miss this one. Left side of your screen is Tyerenex. Right side of your screen, former champion. Looking to get his crown back, TristalMTG. Welcome, Speed Gaming 3 fans and Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. My name is Will Cleosis. I am the Smooth Talker tonight. And joining me, Triton GL, one of my idols. Triton, welcome to the broadcast.
Hello, greetings, salutations, other such things, synonyms like that I can't think of at this exact moment.
Originally we had the Hangry Canuck broadcasting this match, but he might be along in a little bit. But for right now, it is myself and Triton. In the background, Min the Mage is back, taking care of the tracking alongside Triton GL, one of my favorites, Mama Duck herself, Moist Mogwai.
Well, it's interesting to see how runners adapt to the flags we have where White Mage is forced, so everybody's got to bring one. Thief banned, so it's a pretty open choice. We got divergence strats right from the beginning. I love it. Devil Fighter for Tyerenex. Tristal going with the Rainbow Mage. Very popular in this first round to do the Rainbow Mage strats.
Yeah, very popular. Free Canal is the design. That's one of the linchpins of this. Obviously, the Town Shuffle. You're not guaranteed magic. You're not guaranteed heal potions. Save items inside the Intercontinent as well. And Triton, there's two loose items. We just had a match just a few hours ago between Brax's Muse and Len the Cat. And that's what it ended up coming down to. Who could find that last required key item?
You know, I like when your choices matter, and sometimes your choice is a hidden one where people just get caught in the logic of, oh, I gotta go here, I gotta go there because it makes more sense. But you know what? Sometimes the play that makes less sense makes more sense. Sometimes we're fighting things like going to Marsh Cave when we need to. And you just gotta follow what the seed tells you.
Follow what it is, the logic, and what it is that the seed is directing you to. I learned that from Lord Fizzlebeef and yourself, Triton GL. Our players are in the starting box. They're about to get going. Sail the high seas, the 2019 Spring Tournament. For the first round, the captain is the White Mage. That is a forced Light Warrior member. And we've got a character that walks the plank. It's going to be banned. It's the Thief. I don't think either player is going to really miss the Thief in this first round match.
Now, there are a couple players who this does throw with their strategy, actually, because with the early Marsh Cave, likely, they want to be able to use the Thief to run away. Some good news, bad news on Magic's side. Ice 3 is great. Fast is great. Quad Hex is good for Black Magic, bad for a Red Mage, because there's also a Cure 4, and you really don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah, and that Cure 4, that's in the second slot in Canaria. That is White Mage, and eventually, potentially, White Wizard locked. Now, if you're going to let go of a Light Warrior during this adventure to revive the power of the orbs, Cure 4 is pretty good, so it's got to make you think, I would think, a little bit. Also, our vendor item has been located. It's quite cheap. It's about 1,500 gold. It's in Canaria, and it's a dynamite find. That's the TNT.
That could put this seed to an explosive pace depending on what it leads to.
Both players are out of Canaria. They've done all their shopping. Both players are fighting some Ips on their way. TristalMTG gets darked. He gets the dark status upon his Red Mage. Tyerenex, 2/10 in hand, is the first player to enter the Temple of Fiends. He's headed to check the 3 free chests. And the first thing he picks up is a short sword. Not bad early for a fighter.
With the double mage strats on Tristal's side, I don't think picking up an early weapon is as important, and I don't think he bought one in Canaria. But I hate leaving Canaria without a weapon in the fighter's hands, even if it's a bad one, even if you have to resort to an iron hammer. He hits harder and more accurately when you give him something. But now we got a dragon sword, so those two fighters for Tyerenex are much better armed than they were before.
A quick pause on the right side of your screen from the former champion, TristalMTG. We are syncing the stream, so we are now even in exactly where both these players are playing. Tristal picks up his Dragon Sword. He equips it on his top fighter. And Tyerenex is taking on a Spider. TristalMTG is the first to take on Garland, who threatens to knock the former champion down. Doesn't happen, though, Triton. TristalMTG freezes Garland out. He's rescued Princess Sarah. He's having a chit-chat with the King of Canaria. He picks up the canoe, and the newly rescued Princess Sarah hands over Oxiel.
Well, that's interesting. Are we going to have early access to Onrak? But
yeah,
right now, the TNT is what I feel like we really need to get. So I'm pondering going the Provoca side, see what's there, double back to Matoya.
Yeah, I can only think getting those 3 chests because neither player has any money whatsoever. We're talking save items, heal pots. They certainly can't buy that dynamite as well. So I can only think that the best play right now is Matoya. Hoping to get some money, maybe like an Opal Gauntlet or something that could be sellable. And also, while you're up there, find out the newly shuffled, the old Provoca, what that could be. If it is like you talked about, Onrak, we've got to keep that in the back of our minds because we have the Oxiel in our back pocket.
You could also find the big bucks chest here. Big 65k gold. That would certainly do the job.
No whammies.
No whammies from these imps. We do have script shuffle on, which... Do you want imps with nuke? Because that's how you get imps with nuke. They have dark status today.
I remember
if only there was a spell which we could counter that with.
480 fold gold, 70 gold. I didn't see the contents of the first chest in Matoya's cave. We'll catch that on Tyerenex's side. But that is
pretty
not...
close to a whammy. It was tiny gold all the way across.
It was whammy?
Yeah, we got about 1,500 gold in between the 3, if that.
Tristal is fighting an encounter. The Grimps do have Lightning 3. Tyerenex has made his way to Matoya's cave. He gets, gosh, not even 1,000 gold total.
Yeah.
He's going to reset and say, I don't want this. He's going to head towards the old Provoca to find out what that town is. He pulls even with TristalMTG so far.
So you could say of this seed, you're a mean one, Mr. Grimp. Christmas? Too soon?
Never too soon for Christmas. I remember hearing so long ago, Trenton, you saying, you want imps with nuke, this is how you get imps with nuke. Meanwhile, with Town Shuffle, this is how you get Elflin.
That's a fantastic find, even if we don't have the money. I'd honestly reset out of here, I think. Exit makes a compelling case otherwise. You can check the magic, but not having the money, I probably would just pass on this right now and go the other direction. Fades at level 4.
That's good. Exit was also in the 3rd slot. That's going to benefit the former champion Tristal. That's going to be Red Mage learnable, and he buys it right there.
So, Elfland is one of the great ones to find as early as possible because you've got not only 25% of the magic for the game, 1 out of every 4 spells you're going to get is right there. But those first 4 levels are just in a class by themselves. That really is the upper tier for spell charges. So something that falls in that range is so much more valuable than something outside that range. That really, I said 25% of the magic, but it's more like 50% of the magic.
It almost is that you're going to use.
These are the spells that carry you through the game.
I'm wondering, both players are headed back towards the Canaria area and towards the Dwarf Cave. With the TNT, I mean, it's inexpensive. Both players have 2 Ice 3 casters. Would you have considered just a little stop on the Peninsula of Power here to get a couple bucks?
On one hand, you can make a really compelling argument for it. On the other, it'd be a lot different with Fire 3 instead of Ice 3. I don't think Ice 3 is the right spell for that.
Tristal doing some shopping in Canaria. He's filling out his magic spells. Tyerenex is off. He's about halfway towards the Dwarf Cave. 2 chests. I've got to think that might be what Tyerenex is doing. He's looking for like a 10,000 gold chest. 8-6. And maybe he'll turn around and go and buy that TNT this early.
Yeah, 2 more chances for something big to be available. And on distribution, you'd expect something a little bit better when Matoya has been that bad, because the good stuff's got to be somewhere, but maybe that good stuff is sitting in the bottom of the Marsh Cave.
Meanwhile, TristalMTG has found a workaround. He sold the Dragon Sword. He sold the Dragon Sword to buy the Dynamite.
I love that
Veteran
play.
move, Trenton, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, but Ochi would call that getting lunch money. If that gets you moving in the right direction, it's well worth it. Slab is something that could be great, could be bad.
850 gold and an iron shield was found in those two chests. That's not what Tyerenex wanted. He's headed south. Tristal with Slab in hand exits the Dwarf Cave. He's going to head south.
Kind of interesting about what might be down here. Provoca would be the best case scenario at this point for that to be at Elflin, but I feel like we're more likely to see a Melmond or Onrak. Or, you know, Gaia.
Finds Gaia? Checks the armor shop, looking for pro rings or gold bracelets. Sees none of them. But does pick up a chain armor for one of his fighters. He's got about 2,000 gold. He can afford that TNT. We'll see if he considers moving back. He actually moves over to the iron armor. That was quite cheap.
Yeah, I don't like buying armor like that. I suppose it can definitely help with a Marsh Cave dive just to add any absorb, but yeah. Especially if I need that vendor item early, it feels like a waste. Now
Speaking
the
of
question
Marsh
is,
Cave, incentivized Marsh Cave is an option right here, but both players have the canoe in hand. Tyerenex is headed west. No, he's going east. He's headed towards the original Crescent Lake, I've got to think, because he's got the canoe in hand. So what we have on the table here is what Marsh Cave incentivized. Ice Cave is incentivized, the Volcano and its bounty of loot, as well as the unknown town of Crescent Lake.
yeah, the only downside for them is the shortage of save items, but that's definitely enough to carry you to Crescent Lake, as Tyerenex actually found a pretty good run. Or is it just going for the river encounters would be an interesting strat. But you can probably get all the money you really need off the second floor of Volcano right now.
Given that for a while, we know most of the towns, and we're going to creep in on the old Crescent Lake, which is going to be something else, and we know that the purchase of the TNT led to the slab, but we don't have the key components that the slab leads to. Whether or not Crescent Lake is Melmond or Lefane doesn't matter. You can't put those two together. As we have our first route divergence, we'll call it the 10-minute mark of the match. TristalMTG has entered the Marsh Cave.
And skipping the north side, interesting play. There's obviously a ton of value in the incentive chest. But one of the things that makes this Marsh Cave so much of an unpleasant thing is with Script Shuffle on, there's so many different enemy types here, you always get something. Or at least seem to always get something, as he sees heat comes out. Which is not the most devastating thing by itself, but you start getting that in packs, and it's bad.
TristalMTG digs deeper into the Marsh Cave. Tyerenex has made his way to the old Crescent Lake. Oh boy. He finds Lefane. He's going to turn around, Trenton. He's going back. He's going to head towards the Marsh Cave.
I would actually have rather seen him, you talked about Pop earlier, try and get some peeds outside Crescent Lake would have been what I would have liked to make the most out of that. That way, at least the movement has better results for you than just the river tiles.
Yeah, One Fine Day is pointing out in our chat live here on Twitch, specifically Speed Gaming 3, there isn't much in the way of supplies. There isn't a lot of money. This is not easy. As Tyerenex, with the information in hand, is headed back. He's retracing the steps of Tristal. Unrunnable. That's an unrunnable formation for Tristal on the right side of your screen, and we see that fairly often, the bones and the crawl.
And I think that supply limit has a lot to do with what we're seeing out of Tristal's routing. He may have just made the judgment he didn't have enough resources to get both the north and south side right now, so go for the incentive item first. He got an exit charge, so he can get out of here as soon as he sees what's in that chest if he so desires.
Yeah, and it was a subtle move on Tristal's way south, and that's the Vorpal. The game changer has been located. It's early in the game, right here in Marsh Cave. We'll see how that gets utilized or potentially not utilized later on in the game. But Tristal, on his way south, as he was walking towards the old Elfland, took every fight on his way, and that was to get an exit charge.
And a flame shield was on the north side, which is very valuable. We've got the cube, which is not an immediate progression item, so it's looking like the future of this seed has a rendezvous with the ice cave.
Highly
a ribbon
likely.
on the north side!
Wow, Tristal skipped it, Trenton. That's huge.
It is enormous. Not only the flame shield with the higher absorb, but the ribbon with the magic defense. And a big, big payday over 16k.
That's what he
picked up
needed.
by Tyerenex.
TristalMTG with a slight advantage at this point. I wouldn't call it a lead. I don't know, 40 seconds. We'll see if Tristal can get out of this fight, number one, and he does. If he uses that exit charge, as he picks up a Bane Sword, very useful early. Let's see if he goes back in and goes after that ribbon.
That's better than the short. He should equip it. I don't think it's class change locked.
I'm pretty sure it is. I think. We'll get our trackers, Moist Mogwai,
Oh, and the ice armor. Wow, this is great for Tyerenex's double fighter strats. He's got the ribbon for one, he's got flame armor, ice shield for the other, so he's got some elemental resistances now for both fighters once he completes this dungeon. But now it looks like Tristal is going to make the north side play and not miss out.
Yeah, he's going to try to neutralize the advantage that Tyerenex has. What Tyerenex does not have is the dynamite. He knows it's for sale and it's cheap as can be. We got to wonder if he's going to head back and buy that and do that turn-in. That will lead to an advantage for the former champion.
Yeah, not needing to go back is going to be important for Tristal, but also this payday is going to be big because that gives him the heal potions he needs to go to Volcano or Ice Cave. And no telling which one he goes to first, I don't think. Because I really don't think he has the resources for Ice Cave.
I don't think either player has the resources for either of them. So I think it boils down to what you said just a minute ago, Trenton. Slow it down, use the Ice 3, get some HP, some spell charges, and most notably, some levels. I've got to think that both players will consider that as Tyerenex picks up his game changer.
Question in chat, is there a way to differentiate the loose ribbon from the incentive versus unincentive ribbon? No, you should never assume you picked up the incentive ribbon until you've seen the third one, though. That's the only way to be sure.
Nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Alright, so Tristal has his treasure, he's got his ribbon, he's got his flame shield. Gonna go very well with that ice armor. He's got to be happy with how that's set up. Likewise, Tyerenex, I think they're both going to be very happy with the results of this Marsh Cave. Tyerenex, though, was able to finish this dungeon first. The money is going to be great for getting you going, but do you remember if houses were for sale?
Yes. Houses were for sale for 3,300 gold, 3,300 and change.
Okay, so not great, but I want two of them. Because I feel like you need to spend the spell charges for levels on the way. To me, you go Volcano first. Ice 3 plays better there. You've got the first floor for all the treasure without investing a lot. You come out with your higher levels. You use a house. And then you have a much better chance in that ice cave.
Tristal has his ribbon, ice armor, and Oxiel. He's left the Marsh Cave now. He does not have to double back like Tyerenex is doing to pick up that TNT. So we'll see what the former champion decides to do. We've just passed the 15-minute mark. We are live on twitch.tv/speedgaming3. Thank you, Speed Gaming, for hosting us tonight. Whether you're watching us live right now as Shadow Walker, Faye Wins, One Fine Day, and everyone else in the crowd is, or on replay, potentially over on YouTube, we know you're there. Thank you for joining us right here in the penultimate match, the second to last match of the first round in the Swiss rounds of the 2019 Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament.
There's also a play you wouldn't love, but it is an option on the table, and I think it would have been a lot more viable without finding the big money chest. You could sell the Vorpal.
It's an option. That's an option. Vorpal usually worth big money, and it's a sacrifice. It's not an option. It's a sacrifice, and sometimes in relationships or journeys or adventures to where you need to save the world and revive the power of the orbs, sacrifices have to be made.
So another good thing for Tyerenex, though, about the double back strats, and if you're going to do something like that, find a way to make it to your advantage. He was able to buy a stock of tents that Tristal does not have.
That's right.
So he's got the cheap save items to navigate this world. He's got a pretty good walk, so he can save a good bit of time with that until we get airborne.
Both players with all 4 Light Warriors standing, I think this is the right strategy at this point in time. As Tyerenex makes his way to the Dwarf Cave, he's going to pick up his slab. And TristalMTG assumes an advantage as the lead dog right here. He's going to find out the old Crescent Lake is the new Lefane.
A question in chat, what's going to change when we move on to the next round? The basic flags will stay the same throughout the Swiss rounds. That ensures that basically the only major change is your competition for fairness purposes. But what will change is the forest. So, White Mage forced this round. The one thing we know about next round is it will be one of the 5 other classes, as the Arachnids are giving us the cold shoulder. And Thief will not be banned in the next slab. Next round of seeds.
Yeah,
somebody said slab in chat.
Some of our players that are 1-0, I see Shadow Walker 227, Volcanic, yourself, Trenton GL. You are all 1-0 so far, undefeated in the Swiss round. It'll be 5 weeks of action. We got an upcoming match tonight. We'll get to that a little bit later. Another player is going to move to 1-0 tonight. It's going to be right here on Speed Gaming 3 as well. So stay tuned as Tristal continues to make his way through the river system. He's kind of going the wrong way, but he'll turn around and he's paddling towards not the ice cave. He's headed toward
Peninsula Power, perhaps.
Is it Elfland for supplies? Or Peninsula
Maybe?
Power? It's got the Bane Sword, it's got Ice 3s.
That's a great point in chat Shadow Walker makes. It's the Fade in Elfland. There's a lot of value in that before you dive a dungeon. Plus, he takes fights along the way, probably gets level 10, and hopefully a couple more spell charges to do this with.
Yeah, another version of kind of what we were talking about, Trenton. We need to be prepared here because this is not pretty, especially if you're thinking anything about something called the Ice Cave right now. I wouldn't go near that anytime soon.
Well, Fire 2 makes it a lot more palatable. And Harm 2 is not bad either. That's great for the Ice Cave. So this play makes a lot more sense now, although I don't like the levels for going in there.
The Lamp spell available. It's in the second slot of level 4 White Magic. That's going to be White Mage and White Wizard exclusive. Should either player decide to have that in their back pocket.
That Lit 3, you want it, but it's just so expensive. It's really not an option right now because the heal potions are so much more important. But for Tristal, he's got no tents left. And he can't buy any tents or cabins or even houses here if he so desired.
Would you say that is an intense situation? He's turning around, he's leaving, he's going to get them. That's an intense situation for the former champion.
More like out of tents.
Welcome to Final Fantasy Randomizer, the great shows and everything that it is that we do here. If any player, thinking about playing Trenton, whether it's joining the community, playing, they want to get back into this, they played it when they were a kid, they love the shows, they love the story, whatever it is that they want, and they're interested in getting in, what's the best way to start?
Oh, just go right on over to the Randomizer website, FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. You will have access to the Randomizer, links to all of the resources for helping you out, etc., and we will be very happy to get you started. Join us in the Discord. You'll have all the answers to questions that you never thought of before. and a few that you will probably actually do want the answer to as well.
Tristal realizes the intense problem that he has. He heads back to Canaria, picks up a couple softs in a bunch of tents. Meanwhile, on the left side of your screen, Tyerenex is going toward the incentivized ice cave. Oh boy.
A couple levels and a house to save outside of here make me feel better about the play. But, honestly, level 6 it feels so low. I would have rather seen the Peninsula Power Grind first, if this is what you're going to do before Volcano.
When you're at level 6, your spell charges aren't there, your natural M defense is not there, your HP numbers, his Black Mage is at 96. One whack from a Great Pede is not gonna, it's not gonna be good. Either way, Tyerenex enters for round 1 at the 23-minute mark of the Ice Cave.
Here we go. Tristal's making the pop move.
Of the two plays, Trenton, what would you have done? Tyerenex is leaving!
I think he just came to the same conclusion. I would have been hunting Pedes. Honestly, I don't really like coming out of my way to Peninsula Power. The Crescent Lake play isn't great, but that's why I was saying I'd love 2 houses so that I could get the levels, get the magic charges back, and then go to the dungeon. So,
well, 9.
Wise, Tyerenex was able to get everything done before Tristal. But now, level-wise, Tristal's ahead. He's got a better resource of experience than Tyerenex does. And it looks like these giants are kind of pushovers.
Yeah, they are. He's using the Bane Sword. Very effective multitasking. He wants these giants. They got the greatest on experience. They're fantastic on money. But Tristal has found out that they are incredibly beatable. As he fires a Bane Sword, Poison smokes one of them, fires an Ice 3. That's going to loosen him up a little bit as he continues to try to take them on. Meanwhile, Tyerenex is doing the same sort of thing as he's farming the river system.
The good news in the good part of Tyerenex's strategy is he's right here with the house, so he can go right into Ice Cave, full on magic charges. Tristal will have more of a distance to walk once he's satisfied with his levels.
We'd like to welcome Nanoha272 to the live show right here on Twitch. Pleasure to have you. Meanwhile, Tyerenex looked like he was thinking about entering. He goes to his menu and takes a pause and a good long look at it as he runs into some unrunnable piranhas. He needs more levels, and that's what his assessment is. Meanwhile, TristalMTG continues the hard reset. And the first encounter off of that is 2 to 4 giants. And he's going to take him out. He's going to fire the Bane again. There's an Ice 3 that's going to loosen him up. Tristal continues to do this at the 25-minute mark.
Keep wondering if this is going to be the time Tyerenex goes in. It looks like he's setting up for that. And those Grims just keep getting in our way.
Level 8 for Tyerenex? I saw an 8.
Yeah, 8
okay.
across the board.
Tyerenex enters. We're going to call it round 2. Tyerenex and the Ice Cave. He's got a great run. He's almost able to get through. Find some unrunnable wizards at the first floor in the Ice Cave. Gets initiative and gets away. He's onto the second floor. Look at him go, Trenton. Look at the run. He might have figured out the encounter table when he was resetting and screwing around in the river system. Meanwhile, Tristal continues his ridding of the giants of the world as Trenton works on his mic. Tyerenex has made his way to a bunch of Eye Mages with a couple of Wraiths who ambush him. Eye Mages have Fire 2 starting to dig into Tyerenex's party. Black Mage is gone. There's a fighter that's gone. Eye Mages have Damage Poison, which cripples Tyerenex. He has to reset. It's round 3.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, and you always have to question, how far do I go in a dungeon when I see something that nasty? To me, the guideline, not rule, is how many things or how frequently am I seeing that unpleasantness that blocks my progress? Because basically, you're not surviving that fight.
Tyerenex runs into some unrunnable giant and a couple of frost wolves. He's at level 8, trying to maneuver this ice cave. Meanwhile, right side of your screen, TristalMTG is at level 12, and he continues to take fights. I've got to think this is an ice cave dive that he's prepping for, and he wants to be prepared.
Well, if you're going to do a level grind, the worst thing you can do is short it, in my opinion. Because you're investing more time in the setup of it than it actually takes you to get the levels.
Tyerenex resets, he dives into the ice cave again. I've already lost count. He resets again, we're going to call it round 5 for Tyerenex as we near the half-hour mark. Another thing that Tristal's getting here, giants are big money. Early game, he's over 40,000 gold as well. That could help later on, a small byproduct of the work that he's doing, that he's trying to get to of the levels so that he feels comfortable going through a tough dungeon early.
Yeah, this could buy you gold bracelets, this could buy you pro rings, this would get you very well set up. Looks like he's done here with level 13. That's a pretty good argument to make for that.
Level 13 for Tristal. He's leaving the Peninsula Power. Tyerenex gets ambushed again by the undead. Fire twos from the Eye Mages. Tyerenex has had enough. After 5 rounds in the Ice Cave, he's leaving. He's back into the river system. He's going to reassess his situation. As Tristal heads back, he's going to get a house or two, some more tents, and fill up his heal pots.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see Tyerenex go to Peninsula Power at this point. I'd like the Volcano more. I think level 8 is perfectly fine for the first floor of Volcano, and see what that gives you.
Great job by our trackers behind the scenes. Mama Duck, Moist Mogwai with a big smile on her face. Thank you so much. Bringing in one of our newcomers to the community, Min the Mage. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for volunteering your time, because you have just joined one of the greatest broadcast groups, and really the greatest group of people that you're ever going to meet. Glad to have you, Min. Thank you very much. As Tristal is making his way towards the river system, I've got to think this is Ice Cave. As Tyerenex is going to Volcano.
I like it more than anything else that's open to him right now. Chat wonders what difference the levels could make. The biggest thing it could do for you is take the edge off Fire 2s right now. And that means you have more chances to run away from that encounter. Or get the initiative to just kill it. If you could get Fire 2 off there, you're probably winning that fight. Fire 2, Harm 2, almost assuredly. The ability to get spell charges off there that can kill the enemies before they kill you changes everything.
Tristal fires the Bane Sword, poison smoke into all the piranhas. They were unrunnable. Tristal took them out as he steps away from the ice cave. Meanwhile, Tyerenex has entered the Gurgu Volcano. He knows who he's up against. He knows he's up against the elite. Trenton, I've got to be a little bit nervous if I tried the ice cave 5 times and it didn't work playing against this type of player.
Yeah, but it feels like every time you do one of these races, whoever you are, you'll hear it again and again with the winners of the seats. They'll say, I felt like I was behind. There's only about 5 people who don't ever say that. It's just a consistent theme. Something always goes wrong. So you basically just need to put your head down and run your race, is what I'm getting at. And that's a lesson to myself more than anybody.
Tristal starts to dig deeper into the ice cave. Tyerenex using Fire 3. He's up to level 9 to find the hairpin chest. Gets 10,000 gold. We know he's got exit shots. Starts to use some heal potions. He's going to try to clear this. No sign of a loose item quite yet.
Question in chat, have they found tents cabins? There are very cheap tents for sale in Paneria.
On top of the Eye Mages and their Fire 2, the race that they often come with have a paralysis touch where they physically attack. It's very important for the upcoming trap tile that Tristal's about to drop into. It's a mixed trap tile. They got Geists and Spectres and Ghouls and all those other creepy crawlers. But it's a draw. It's RNG.
Got some silver armor, which is definitely an improvement over chain. There's the peds Tyerenex has been needing.
Tristal runs in the undead pack. Here comes the Eye Mages with fire too, and one of the fighters is stunned. He's trying to run, and he gets away.
That's a big difference. Even a few levels can really change your survivability, your ability to run away from the encounters with better stats. Levels are kind of a cure-all. It's just a question of how much time you invest in getting them. We've got an Excalibur, which is big if we class change.
Excalibur has been located in the armory area by Tyerenex. He's the first player to get here. He's picking up some money as well.
And with the double fighters, that's an extremely important find for him.
What else
Power
is important?
Gauntlet.
Power Gauntlet. This makes a carry dive. Potential. I don't know if I would do it, but potential.
The levels don't feel great to me. Maybe if something like the Agamas just proved to be complete pushovers. But meanwhile, we're seeing Tristal being able to make the progress in this cave that Tyerenex was not.
A byproduct of the time and the work that Tristal put into the old Peninsula of Power.
The thing about levels is it's more than just the number that is next to the party member. It's the spell charges that are there. It's the increased HP. It's the better ability to run away. It's going to reduce the chances you're getting ambushed. It just makes a lot of things better, even if only marginally so. But a lot of races get decided on that marginal stuff.
Tristal got ambushed by a bunch of wraiths. They didn't stun any of his light warriors. He attempted to run and he got away again. As he approaches the 6 chests and Frost Dragon encounter. Is there anything in here? A Mage Staff and a Sun Sword.
That is just about as big as what Tyerenex found in the first floor of Volcano. Immediate sense, it's actually better. Long-term sense, what Tyerenex found is better. But immediate sense, this is big for Tristal. That Mage Staff should really be enough to carry him through the rest of the Ice Cave.
How about a black shirt?
Will sure help.
Add that to the list. Tyerenex continues to raid the Gurgle Volcano. He's very deep in it. Does he exit out? Does he take a couple Agama fights? Does he go after Carry? Look at him. Look at his inventory. What am I going to do here? Can I do this? He's put himself in a little bit of a decision.
I think you have to scout the Agamas here. And the Seed is kind enough to cooperate on that front. What do they hit for? This is big information. How much HP do they have? They hit pretty good, not
and they got 3 hits. Level 10 for Tyerenex. That gave him the information that he doesn't have to look for. Meanwhile, Tristal closing in on the incentivized chests. He's got 3 more in a huge pack of wizards, but they're runnable and he gets away again.
And we'll also find out if Tristal wants to mess with this eye a little bit, or if one's going to be enough.
It's
I don't think he wants to spend a lot of
2 in 116.
I don't think you want to spend a lot of time with the eye when you've already done a level grind, and it's very likely that Adamant leads you to progress, but you do kill this a few times. I just don't like investing a lot of time here when you've already done a level grind.
Yeah, he's definitely got a lot. The eye does not hit hard. There's a Zeus Gauntlet pickup for Tyerenex. In the Agama chest, would keep a good eye on the left side of your screen. Meanwhile, Tristan's going to blow all his spell charges that he has, and when he's done with those, he's going to use the exit spell from his White Mage, the Captain. Speaking of the Captain, Tyerenex has found one of our loose items. It's in the volcano, and it's the ship. Now, that tells me right there, as Tristal leaves the Ice Cave, that this adamant highly likely is nothing.
I don't know about nothing. There's plenty of ways for this to work out. What if it's the floater?
It would have to lead to the floater for it to be beneficial to Tristal, or perhaps a crystal herb type scenario.
Even
because we already have
like
the TNT.
Rod or...
Yeah, I think it's going to lead to like the Rod or something like that. Right now, we're back and forth. Tyerenex led a little bit early, then Tristal kind of took a little bit of a lead. And I got to think that Tyerenex takes a little bit of an advantage now.
Unless Tristal goes straight to Volcano while he's in the area. He's got the levels, and if he didn't pick up a house, there is one in the first floor of the armory.
He does have houses. He bought a couple of them. Tristal was ready for this. He's going to head directly to the Gurgu Volcano. He's going to be able to house up and have his levels and all his spell charges. He's going to dive in and go after his ship.
In that case, I absolutely love the play. Yeah, having the houses in the bank is definitely valuable. These are not super soft agmas, but they are soft. Super soft means your fighter can kill him in one shot.
Tyerenex trying to catch up. He's at level 11. He's moving that fighter down to the bottom. He's got a silver sword, and he's rearranged. He's going after carry. He's going to try to do this. That's not a sword,
that's a knife.
Well, he's going to try this. This is pivotal for Tyerenex in this match.
Did he get Quad X? Is this a gamble based on Quad X?
He's got Power Gauntlet, he's got a weapon. I'm like Ice 3. Exit. Look at him. Look at two fade shots.
Charges. If he had Quad X, just surviving a couple rounds could do it. But he doesn't have the Quad X, so I don't like it as much.
He's going to attack. He gets a Power Gauntlet off. This is critical for Tyerenex. Oh gosh, 1 damage. He gets a fade off. A $130. There's hold, and it misses. It's a free round for Tyerenex. He's got a fast off as well. This is being well played by Tyerenex.
Big break for him that it was a free round. Gets that extra damage off. Coming with Dark, another great round for Tyerenex.
She only got the top fighter with Dark. It did not hit. 4 hits, 200 damage. Another fade shot, 256. Take a lightning 3-2 carry for 56, round 3. Tyerenex is playing this perfectly.
Yeah, throw everything you've got like that. There's no sense holding back, and I don't think you need to buff up anymore. Carry's not likely to have a lot more HP than this.
4 hits or 59 from the fighter. Carry's got fast. Carry's going to try to fight back.
The good news is she has a bias towards the spell's abilities, though. We haven't seen her hit yet.
Fire 2 from Carry.
One shot on DPS.
Tyerenex continues the assault. There's the Dragon Sword. 4 hits, 189. Tyerenex lights our first orb. 39-minute mark. Played that really well.
I think that was a best-case scenario for him. Now, you're a little more likely to be able to get through that ice cave. He's level 11. It's a lot better play, but it looks like he wants to go for the ship first.
Yeah, he's got to get supplies. I don't think he has any houses. So, yeah, I can't see any in his inventory. So, ice cave is not the play here for him. We don't know what that adamant leads to. We think it's likely not the progression item that either player wants. He's going to stock up on supplies, and I think he's going to start sailing the high seas.
Well, there's a lot out there that could benefit you. There's 2 important towns we haven't seen yet. Crescent Lake and Provoca, because both of them have an item. We've not seen Melmond yet, because we can translate the slab. So the statistics of what you can get to, we've got 2 more towns we can access, 2 we cannot. Pretty good chance you're going to be able to get to at least one beneficial place.
Tyerenex is the first player to start sailing the high seas. Just behind him, TristalMTG has already completed the ice cave. He got the incentivized item out of there. It is the adamant. It's a fetch quest scenario. He's in the volcano looking to pick up his ship, and based upon what it is that he has, I would think also try to take out his first fiend. As Tyerenex is also our first player to break out of the intercontinent, he's headed towards the original Melmond.
Really, his best case here is that the adamant turns into the incentive ribbon. The worst case for him is that it's the floater. There's a lot of room in between, but I don't think any of the in-between is necessarily good for Tyerenex.
Tyerenex's story in this match gets better. He goes to the original Melmond, and he finds Provoca. We're talking level 2 magic, we're talking tier 3. I missed the black magic. An incentivized item from Bicky and his band of pirates.
And another chance to find gold bracelets, which are there for 33k. A little bit better price on the pro rings.
That's huge. Tyerenex strengthening his Light Warrior party.
It's always a struggle for me how many pro rings you want to buy when you find them for sale this early. Because you know with how many there are in the seed that you're going to find a couple. So do you just buy them for the immediate benefit? Do you wait for them knowing you're going to find 1, 2, 3? And how much time does Tristal take with the Agamas? Tyerenex took a little because he really needed the levels. Tristal doesn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of caster items that came out of the Volcano. The black shirt was in there, the power gauntlet as well. We'll see how both players utilize those great items.
Chad asks, at that price, you buy them, right? I certainly lean towards it if I don't need the money for spells, because the immediate benefit is just so much. That's the tale. I dare say that's actually not great news for Tyerenex, as weird as that's going to sound. Because that's one of the two potential things that Tristal could get with the Adamant that slow him down and benefits Tyerenex more.
No sign of the ruby at this point. Could this be a ruby locked seed? Still on the table. Castle Ordeal. Incentivized location, the waterfall. Incentivized location. The town of Onrak's value. The original Onrak is low right now because we've seen Provoca and we've seen Crescent Lake and Elfland.
Oh
well,
my! Damage poison comes out from the Sahags! Devastating Tyerenex's party. With no life, I'm surprised he didn't reset.
Might be part of his plan.
No. Now he resets.
Okay.
And that's just not fun. Then the big question becomes how much can you avoid encounters on the sea, and it looks like the first run is pretty good.
I've got to think Castle Ordeal might be next. You've got Fades?
Mage Staff for Tristal, Ordeals is going to feel really good. Tyerenex, he's got the Zeus Gauntlet and the Black Shirt. That's pretty decent, but I do kind of like the Waterfall play. You've got Exit.
Tyerenex is headed toward the original Onrak area. We're going to see what that town is quickly. Meanwhile, TristalMTG is going to take on his Fiend. He's going to try to knot it up at one orb apiece. Tyerenex played carry really well. We'll see how Tristal does. He's going to fire Bane. Poison Smoke! That's a 3 and 256 from the former champion!
Well, you know, when you don't have anything better for the character to do, you should do that, just in case this is the time.
Wow!
Tyerenex has got to be having some ugly flashbacks seeing this fight.
Wow. So when that happens, and it's not very often, but when something like that happens, you kind of feel it. It's like, this is my game, and I'm going to take this. When something like that hits, you just feel that energy and that momentum, and then you just take, the bull, and you grab it by the horns, and you show it who's boss.
So Tyerenex will want to cash in the slab here, get it translated. Then the important thing is to remember that you did translate it because we haven't found Lefane yet.
Tristal hitting a lot of encounters in the river system as he's headed towards his ship, runs into more unrunnable piranhas. He's going to show his experience in reset. Try to get to that as Tyerenex translates his slab. He has a little chat with Dr. Un.
Excellent point in chat. Actually, Lefane was Crescent Lake, so he can sail back there, but that might take a while. I think he's going to go back to there when he's going back to the ice cave.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm trying to spend money in your town. Thank you.
Final Fantasy IV, they have that one NPC that blocks a shop, and the developer changed the dialogue to say, "No, you get out of my way."
Tyerenex finds the level 3 spells. I believe we saw Bane Temper was available as well. He's headed towards the incentivized location of the waterfall. 6 chests. And the robot, Tristal, his opponent, calls the robot Marcy. As Tristal starts to sail the high seas at the 46-minute mark.
Now, does Tristal go a different direction? The first thing he obviously will want to do is turn in the Adamant. So he's looking for that river tile that's closest to the Dwarf Cave to park the boat. Could have gone to the other side, actually, and been slightly closer, but that's fine. That's not big. As
Tyerenex traverses the waterfall, we're going to find out a very critical piece of information. TristalMTG with the rare adamant in hand turns it in, and he gets the chime. Now, oh boy.
That's pretty good for Tristal. It's not the bingo play that Floater would have been, but it is important, and it's absolutely required.
Tristal continues to get all these fights, learning the encounter table. You know he's got that in the back of his mind. He jumps into his boat. He's headed towards the original Melmond. He's going to find level 2 magic and Provoca containing the tail.
And with the tail, you're incentivized with this party to change classes as soon as you can. You want the fighters to learn spell charges as quickly as possible.
Over in chat, Shadowwalker's pointing out right now what I was about to say. If you look at this and step back a little bit, take a look at our tracker. Down below, on the right-hand side of your screen, being taken care of by Mama Duck and Min the Mage. That's a chime, and that's a cube. We've got 2 loose items out there, and we, at this point in time, do not have a floater.
Yeah, the one thing I get the idea of going to Mirage, and I love an early Mirage play, but I don't like the Mirage play before Ordeals. We've got the key item available, the incentive item available in Castle Ordeals. We've got the Mage Staff to get through it pretty routinely. This seed just feels like we're going to be able to blaze a path through Ordeal easy, and then Mirage is somewhat nearby if needed.
An apology, I've been corrected. The ship does count. It was loose. Speaking of counting, Nightmares with Blaze devastate Tyerenex. He lost the Black Mage. He's down to 3 warriors, but he's made it to the trap tile. And he's still got the X of the White Mage. It's a good one.
What a trap tile. 5 Whiz Mummies is fantastic.
Except when Whiz Mummies have fire too.
He should be okay here. I think he's got the ribbon on the White Mage, and he's got fire resistance, I think, on both of the fighters, so he's well set up for that.
He does. He's got to fire this Fade and take these mummies out, and he's starting to devastate them. He's got to have the White Mage survive. Got the exit charge.
That is a good point, though. It's going to take him a while to revive that Black Mage, because Melmond.
That's a Katana pickup. He's going to be able to sell that. Talks to Marcy and picks up the Ruby. The plot thickens. Castle Ordeal, he's nearby, Trenton. Sarda, all the way back. He's translated the slab. Tristal's going to Castle of Ordeal.
I like it. I like it so much. It's just... It was right. Reasonably easy to get to. You know it's the incentive item. Why not find out what it is before you go diving places that you don't know if you're going to have to explore or not?
Yeah, this is a classic play from Tristal. He does this every time. Believe me, I know. Tyerenex has a decision to make. There's Castle Ordeal, which is nearby, which he is not boating to. He's got a translated slab. He could head towards the original Crescent Lake and turn that in.
I would like that because he's actually got to revive the Black Mage too. Going to Ordeals without the Black Mage wouldn't feel good because he would be very lacking for AoE magic.
He's also got the Ruby that yields access to another incentive item with access to... He can get through the Titan's Tunnel to get to Sarda. He's headed that way. He's headed towards the original Elfland, which is the new Gaia, to just hang out, apparently.
Yeah, I think he's trying to remember if they have a clinic here or not, and or where it is, because you never have to go to it up by the pirate. Yeah, it would be a really fascinating play to see him go for the Ruby, because if that is the floater, that'd be a potentially big advantage right now. But it's just not going to feel good, and sometimes not feeling good keeps us from making plays.
Tristal is having a really tough time in Castle Ordeal. He runs into some Medusas that are muting him.
Yeah, he may be exploring the pillars right now. He was having some trouble with them early and kept going back to the start. Here's the Sahags again, which we know are not pleasant by any stretch.
No. The Medusas with mute, Tristal's able to get away, but the Medusas are telling you, TristalMTG, don't speak! I know what you're thinking. But he gets away.
Well, the gargoyles have fire. Kind of thematically appropriate, but still annoying. And I really don't want to know what they have after that in the spell list.
Welcome to, look at the chat, Trenton. Thank you for joining us here live on Twitch. It is April 13th, 2019, the penultimate match. 2019 Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament as Tyerenex turns in the translated slab, has a chit-chat with the Lithanians, and the quest continues. It's the crown.
Do you chase this? Do you go for that item? Here's the thing. If you even consider the possibility Tristal got through Ice Cave, if that's a vanilla floater, you know that could devastate you in the sea. How long are you willing to risk your opponent having that item on you?
Tristal has made his way to the final floor of Castle of Ordeal. Is the second loose item in here, he finds a Pro Cape. That's a shield equipable by either of his mages. That's good. Tyerenex is making his way towards Northwest Castle. He's got the crown. The kindly old king and his pet bats wants his crown back. He's going to return that crown to the kindly king.
There's one of those loose pro rings I said we'd find, but Tristal doesn't need it because he bought them earlier. There's the floater! It was in Ordeals!
It's got it. It was an ordeal all along. Tyerenex passed on it. It didn't work. Meanwhile, Tristal has gained the advantage. He's got the floater rock, and he's in the ship on his way to the Ryukon Desert.
He can sail straight north from here. He's going to be at Elfland, and then he just has to go a little bit east to get to the desert. Or, you know, he could go west and go the long way, but whatever. Castle Ordeals is pretty in line with Elfland, and I don't have the whole map memorized, but I try and memorize some key points like that so I can figure out my route between two places if I have to sail there. The other thing about the floater desert, though, is it's very far south. It's like about the most southern point on the map. The crystal came from Astos. Not random enough.
It's not what Tyerenex wants, and we know where he needs to go. I think he'll probably more than likely go there fairly soon, next dungeon dive. But this will give Tyerenex the 12 key items. At 12 key items here in the spring tournament, you get an experience boost. 150% from the base.
So Tristal's airborne 54-minute mark. And what does Sarda have? It's
Missed
the
a key!
That is big. That opens up a lot of locations. I don't know why he didn't go straight to Dwarf, or maybe he is, actually. Yeah, he is. Bunch of free chests available here. Also, you want to head up northwest because it's nearby.
After a detour, Tristal has opened up a bit of a lead. We know that the ruby is in the waterfall. We know that the waterfall dungeon is not required in this match. We are still missing the rod, which is required, and of course the loot, which will be required as well. Tyerenex is making the right play, Trenton. I mean, he's turning in that ruby headed towards the Sarda item. We know it's not what he wants, but this is definitely the right play for Tyerenex.
Did get a gold bracelet, though, which is very good defense for your mages. You're not going to be upset about getting that. And you're not going to be upset about getting the key if it leads you to something good, but we don't see too much here with the dwarves. The Pro Cape, pretty well to highlight. He skips the Northwest Castle, though. I don't like that.
It was a match last year. It's well known in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. TristalMTG made the Northwest Castle Mystic Key play, and he picked up a ribbon which his opponent skipped. It was a huge boon for Tristal in that match, but this time he decides to skip it, at least at this point in time.
Nothing of value in Canaria. Not the castle treasury, anyways. It's a good chance to restock on your items for Tristal, and he's got a bunch of money from the explorations he's done so far. So right now, Tristal's got Onrak Waterfall to explore, and he's also got Mirage he can explore.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen him hit Gaia yet, and I'd like that move first.
Meanwhile, he's going to take the tail. He's going to class promote.
I don't think he has the tail. Wasn't the tail Roba?
The tail came from Vicky.
Okay, my bad.
Mm-hmm. Tyerenex returns
Robot
from his
was the
jaunt.
Ruby?
Ruby was in Waterfall.
Okay.
Yep. Waterfall will not be required in this match. Tyerenex has done everything right, but it has not led to the correct location. Tristal was able to put the pieces together and get there. He's in the air. As now he starts to class promote. As we near the 1 hour mark, we've been talking about how this is the penultimate match here in the first round of the Swiss rounds for the 2019 Spring Tournament. We'd like to remind you that the Encore is coming up, and it's tonight. Same channel. It's right here on Speed Gaming 3. It's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. As yours truly, the smooth talker Wilcleosis, just like he was last year in the Encore. A little bit different scenario this time. Last year, he took on Zardia in a great, again, wonderful match that is very well known from YouTube to everyone else in the community. The roles are reversed this time. This time, Wilcleosis is the veteran. He's the favorite, you could possibly say. And he's taking on a newcomer where he was last year. Tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Wilcleosis versus the podcast extraordinaire, Wraith Hates Caleb. Another newcomer, Trenton. Could he pull off what we've already seen Doogie MacGyver do?
You know, there's been some first round upsets. And that's an incentive ribbon from Matoya. So Tyerenex now knows progress is through the ice cave.
He does. Well,
that also means
Ordeal.
We gotta watch for another loose item.
If Tyerenex goes to the ice cave here, he's in trouble. He has got to go to Castle Ordeal Hill. As the second loose item has been found by Tristal, it's the bottle.
Yeah, we have to watch for at least one more to be loose. We're looking for Rod and the loot at this point. I think that's everything, because we found the Axial early. So Rod and loot. One should be the bottle item.
Yeah. Tristal with the bottle in hand heads directly to the new Gaia. It's the old elf, and he's going to turn that thing in. He's wondering what it is. He's wondering, is this the ribbon? It will not be the ribbon. We know Matoya holds that. This will either be the rod or the loot. Both are going to be required items. Tristal opens the bottle, has a little chit-chat with a tiny fairy, and she hands over the rod.
The rod's going to be a welcome sight. Now you know you just need the loot. And why not check out the waterfall for it? Because for all he knows, this is go mode. Tyerenex is on the right track.
He's going to Ordeal. That's huge.
How long does this keep him away from Ice Cave? I mean, it'll be a lot easier to travel the world with the airship, so it won't be as penalizing now, but all that extra time sailing. Right now, Tristal has had the airship for about 7 minutes over Tyerenex. That's going to climb because obviously Tyerenex doesn't have it yet. It's also a question of what do you do with it. And Tristal has got himself to being one item away from go mode.
Crystal's going to translate his slab. It's going to lead to the crown, which will lead to the crystal, which will lead to the incentivized ribbon.
And he's going to be able to do all of that so much faster than Tyerenex did, just from being Airship instead of the normal ship, the water ship. But, you know, whatever floats your boat. So thank you everybody who's joining us today on Speed Gaming 3. And of course, thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting the triple header this afternoon. It was a busy day on the Speed Gaming family of networks, but they made some time for us. It's always appreciated.
Tristal has entered the waterfall. Tyerenex in search of his floater. He's going to find it past the 1 hour mark. Tristal closing in on a 10-minute airship lead. How about that YouTube community that we got, Trenton? Wow, has it been great. We're working on doing some YouTube exclusive shows, making sure they get all our content as well. We're watching, we're there, and we thank you. We're watching on any replays on YouTube. It's you're as much of the community as we all are, as all the live fans right now, the massive mains, Greggly Puffs, Shadow Walkers, Max Plus Pies that are live with us right now on Speed Gaming 3.
A great encounter for Tristal. And, folks, if you're not already following Speed Gaming on YouTube, why not? So much great content available there. If you like randomizers, if you like any kind of video games, because, boy, they got everything. They had a Super Mario Odyssey tournament that just wrapped up a few weeks ago. They had Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer, just finished up this week. A lot of good content forthcoming as our spring tournament plays out here. And there'll be a lot of those matches on Speed Gaming YouTube.
What Tristal has ended up doing is going to the waterfall. He's going to rip through the dungeon. And did it very fast. What Tristal has not done is dig out Crescent Lake. Crescent Lake is located off the beaten path, airship required. That will hold the Circle of Sages, and we believe hold the herb, which will lead to the loot, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a distinct possibility. We've not seen the Lefane entrance. Tyerenex is about to find out the floater was here this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he feels bad about that, though, because that means he wasn't wrong to leave the ice cave.
Yeah.
If anything, that might make you feel a little reassured that maybe, possibly, to likely, that Tristal wouldn't have gone there yet.
Tristal picks up his crown. That will lead to the crystal, which will lead to the incentivized ribbon.
Tyerenex is showing a little bit more familiarity with the map
Mm-hmm.
from this route, though, because he's going north towards Elfland and east towards the desert, which is a little faster than how Tristal went there. It's not a huge time difference, but it is definitely closer this way.
Since we know the location of all the key items, neither player knows exactly where that is. Tristal has most of the pieces put together. If we start looking forward to the endgame, weapons, spells, ribbons, that sort of thing. Trenton, weapons,
Excalibur with fast.
Mm-hmm.
Remember whatever Timber was, or if we've seen it? Because Excal's gonna be fine through at least Carry 2, and I think it's fine through Kraken 2.
Hyra Fellows beat me to it in chat. Temper was second slot. Level 5, Red Wizard learnable.
That's not a great spot for it to be. Spell charges will be a little limited, but 2 mages that can learn it, that's better. That tells me you might want a couple extra levels for a couple extra spell charges if you're doing this with Excalibur, just because you're really going to want to stack temper charges for Chaos.
Tyerenex has made his class change. He's rearranging his inventory. Opal Armor. He equips the Excalibur on his top knight and the Game Changer on his second knight. Spell pickups for Tristal. Good. Oh, it's a wall on a knight. That's good.
Also, that Opal Armor is extremely good defense. The Dragon Armor is preferred because of its spell resistances, but Opal Armor would actually be higher absorb. And if you can stack that with another elemental gear, it'll protect you against the lightning element. So you throw something like Ice Shield, Flame Shield on.
Tristal is headed into the Earth Cave. I've got to think that he's already put everything together, knows where the loot is going to be, doesn't care, and is just trying to route in go-moding this, or potentially checking chests for any equipment that he might want, and knocking out the orb. He's going for it.
This is go mode. He's passed up on several treasure chests so far. He's not making any movement towards them. He's just finishing Earth because it's close. And I suppose if you had to come back here for some reason, it wouldn't really cost you any time, / would be faster, not having to worry about the Fiends. So there's nothing costly about this. This can only be beneficial.
Tristal starts to dig deeper into the Earth Cave. He's made to the vampire floor. Meanwhile, Tyerenex has returned to the new Gaia in the old Elfin location. He's going to turn in his bottle.
That's actually a great point in chat that I had apologized, but I'd forgotten that Tristal has the power gauntlet. So the spell charges for temp are not nearly as important as having fast charges. So with Excal, you're going to do fine. It's a good damage weapon, but you're going to have to stack more stuff on it. It just doesn't have the hit rate or crit rate of Masa.
Tristal's only got the Vorpal at this point. The Excalibur, as he gets fired too'd by the Eye Mage as he's lost the Red Wizard, is located in the Volcano Armory. The aforementioned match, we referenced it about 40 minutes ago. Tristal skipped the Armory in Volcano in that match. Dare he do it again? That's where the Excalibur is. He has not been to Volcano.
Wasn't that the orb he has?
Oh wait, you're right. Hold on. Does he have Excalibur? Okay, thank you, Hyro. My apologies. Did he? We'll take a look into it. I see Maurice Mogwai scrambling behind the scenes.
Well, the next time he swings the sword, we'll see what color it is.
My apologies, fans.
If it's gold, it's the Excalibur. If it's blue, it's the Vorpal. Oh,
damage
Image is
poison.
firing off the damage poison.
Gets away. Just a hit and run. Full go mode
I
for
was just
Tristal.
taking for granted that Tristal had Excalibur. But we'll see next time he swings it for sure, or checks inventory for some reason.
We're being told behind the scenes that he did get it. Whether or not he kept it, we're not sure. I can't imagine him not keeping it. One Fine Day is telling us he's got it, and I trust One Fine Day, so... Our apologies, we'll double check as the Eye Mage is just giving Tristal fits. Damage poison again.
Given the business, a pack of 6 is enough.
Tristal's in trouble. Tristal's in huge trouble. He's lost the Knight and the Red Wizard. The Ribbon is saving him. The Black Wizard's down.
I don't think he has life charges to recover from this, though.
Fire 2, he's down to the White Wizard. He's got to get that fade off. He's going to get it off now. And he does. Wow.
This might be a reset anyways. I don't think he has a life charge. I don't think they have life. He's got a solo White Mage, the Earth Cave.
He runs into more Eye Mages. Fire 2, damage poison, followed by another Fire 2 in an ambush. Take another Fire 2. Oh my gosh. Tyerenex has found Crescent Lake. He's picked up his herb. He's gonna get his loot soon. Tristal is down to the White Wizard in Earth Cave, of all places, on the floor of Lich.
This is not out of the question. I would not want to use that Cure 4 before Lich, though. It's too important if he does anything.
He's got Harm 3. He's got Fade. He does not have a defense sword. Does he have Ruse?
I don't think so. I think this is pure DPS and see if you can kill him faster.
144, Lich
gives
attacks
us the loot.
14. Fade again from TristalMTG. 92 is not enough. We'll go to round 3. Fires another Fade. This is his entire strategy. 102 isn't. Fire 2 from Lich.
Actually, the second Fire 2 is good news.
168, Lich starts to attack again. He's down to 180. He's moving to Harm 3. Lich is undead. This will work. 204, huge roll. TristalMTG showing why he's the former champion. 2 orbs for Tristal now. Wow.
And Tyerenex is going into Ice Cave to move himself that much closer to go mode. Tristal made it work. The Fire 2 was great news. When he opened that, I was actually a little worried because I think that Fire 2 damage poison was on the Medusa script, and I was worried Lich had it. Where Tristal has the chance to recover. We don't have Onrak, then I think you go Mirage now?
He's headed towards the Mirage Tower, it looks like. I'd be rattled. I mean, he's still got to get his herb from Crescent Lake as well. That's what he's going for. He sees that, and he leaves. He's going to head towards the original Lefane. Tyerenex has re-entered the Ice Cave. We know this will lead to the Adamant, which will itself lead to the Chime. And that will put Tyerenex in go mode.
Go mode's going to feel good. Having it be that much later is not going to be... It was about a 10-minute disparity in Tristal getting airborne before Tyerenex. Now he's also got an orb up on Tyerenex.
Tristal enters the Old Lefane, finds Crescent Lake where he will pick up his herb. He's going to check the level 6 magic first. Finds Invis 2, and there's the Life 2 and the Life in the same magic level. He's got to be happy to see that.
I think you're unhappy to see that. You're glad to finally have a life spell, but it would have been a lot nicer to have, say, Life 2 at level 3.
Definitely much nicer. And also, that Life 2 is sharing a level with Invis 2.
Yeah, these stats, I'm not as big on Invis 2 as I certainly was in the first tournament, the one that Tristal won. It was nearly required. But so much of this is about your ability to kill the enemy instead of your ability to defend against the enemy.
Tristal with herb in hand. He's going to head towards Elfland Castle and pick up his loot to enter go mode. Tyerenex very close. He's deep into the Ice Cave. Going to go through this loop, pick up his Adamant, then he'll get his Chime, and he will enter go mode.
So compared to how long it took Tyerenex to get the Airship versus Tristal, it's going to be a lot faster for Tristal to get to go mode. Plus, he's already got a second orb, while Tyerenex still needs 3 instead of just 2.
Uncharted ground, Keylock chests, and Elfland Castle. Tristal finds absolutely nothing. Tyerenex finds his Adamant. He's going to take up a couple extra fights before he uses his exit. That's the same thing that Tristal did earlier in this game.
This feels like a good time to do it. 15 is, I would say, pretty low for this time into the game. Getting a couple is going to feel better. Plus, if you get a couple spell charges on the knights, so much the better. On the other hand, if you run into more Eye Mages, yuck.
Yuck, that's level 7 nuke. Here's this undead pack. It was off a stray encounter for Tyerenex. We know the Wraiths have a stun touch. They can hammer you, and the Eye Mages have damage, poison, slow, and fire too. Black Wizard's gone. White Wizard gets off a fade with 62 HP left. Meanwhile, the former champion, starting his quest to get his title back, TristalMTG on the right side of your screen, has entered the Sea Shrine. Go mode, Trenton, just time to go? Continue that, I would think.
Go mode-ish. I feel like there's at least a handful of chests that you're going to get along the way. There's 2 of them here that are too easy to never check. There's the Sharknado room where you can get 3 chests theoretically without an encounter because there's only 3 extra steps to get those. You've got Sky Castle where you've got the 4 near the teleporter, and I think it's 6 off to the side room you can get going into Sky Castle. So that's a lot of chests to give you a chance at something else potentially valuable, like that boss immune, like the white shirt. Maybe you don't check all of those, but you can route in a few of those in Go mode very easily without investing a lot of time.
Tyerenex uses the Mystic Key. He's checking the locked Dwarf Cave area. Doesn't get much, picks up a Pro Cape.
You can get
5.
something with no encounters. It's hard to take a pass on. We also have not seen Northwest Castle's 3 chests. Tristal never went there.
A 5-pack of ghosts for Tristal. These ghosts will hammer you. But another Fire 3 is going to take out most of them. There's the Excalibur that Tristal does have equipped to his knight. We'll go ahead and update that on our tracker right now for Tristal. He does have the legendary Excalibur to go along with the Game Changer itself. The Vorpal.
I'm being corrected that he did check the Northwest treasures just to find trash after he did Astos. That would make sense. He passed on it the first time, went back for Astos. So. There's those first 2 I was talking about. Even in Go mode, you check those. Even if you have everything, I think you still check those because they're literally just sitting right there. And even if it's an extra heal potion, well, that's one less you have to buy. Now this is the big floor to me. How many does he check? Does he get 3 out of Sharknado?
3. I would think. 1, 2, 3. He's out of here.
Not a bad tile for experience if you're worried about your levels too, but you can get those 3 pretty well without costing you a fight, at least on average.
Tyerenex digging through the Earth Cave, still checking a couple chests here and there. His opponent skipped these. On his way to try to light his second orb. There's a Lightning 3 and a good experience encounter. It's the Experience Pinata!
Gets past the Angry Shark without too much trouble.
Tyerenex is bat blocked. Get out of my way, bat. Nope, back and forth. It's a dance between Tyerenex and the bat. Bat back and forth. Tyerenex leads the dance.
That second time Tyerenex did what's your best percentage strategy, which is stand diagonal to the bat. That way you give the bat 2 directions at least that it can go to get out of your way. In that case, 3 directions that it can go to get out of your way. And you can quickly get around it.
On. He's nearing the rod block and the rod chest. He's gonna take a fight that... what was that? I don't know,
I didn't see it, I blinked.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it either. Tyerenex uses his rod, digging deeper into the Earth Cave. Meanwhile, TristalMTG is on the floor of Kraken, the Fiend of the Sea, the Fiend of the Water. Big, huge hero run all the way to Kraken. He's going to try to light his 3rd orb.
And no Brack here, which doesn't feel great to me. Excal, he should be able to do a lot of damage, but is he going to be able to defend the Knight? Kind of would have liked to have moved the Knight down in this scenario. Never mind.
See you later. Excalibur after a fast, making use and exploiting those elemental weaknesses of Kraken, demolishes, and that's 3 for Tristal now.
Just without any kind of invis 2 from a white shirt or anything like that, I would have liked the Knight moved down for safety purposes, because you'd hate to run the dungeon and have to do it over again.
1 hour, 21 minutes and change. Our first player has entered the Mirage Tower. It's Tristal, and he's completely stepping on it. He feels comfortable with his gear. I'm sure he'll take a lot of fights to get his levels back up, as he's going to take out with a Fire 3 all these vampires. See if he gets a level here. He does. Level 20, 20, 21, and 20 for all his light warriors.
Yeah, it's getting to a pretty good position. He's probably going to be 23, I would think, coming out of here. Might depend a little on what he sees along the way. And then the biggest question to me is, does he go to one of those side rooms off the first floor of Sky?
Tyerenex has lit his second orb. The Earth Cave has been completed.
Blue Dragon is a runnable encounter, so Tristal will do just that and move on to Sky. Now, this is going to be go mode, so the only chests I think he's checking here might be the 4 by the teleporter.
No sign of the defense sword in this match. No sign of the damage-heavy, versatile Mazmoon weapon. We do have the Power Gauntlet, the Excalibur, and the Vorpal available for Endgame. Tyerenex is going to find his nuke at level 7. Feels bad, Light Warrior.
Sky Castle keeping an eye on us, but Tristal makes short work of that. The Star Room finds unrunnable rock columns. No, there's no chance he's checking a chest in here, because if he was going to check anything, it would have been on the previous floor.
Tyerenex has entered the Sea Shrine. He's stepping on it with a Vorpal wielder and an Excalibur wielder, leading his Light Warrior party. He's on his way to light his 3rd orb, while Tristal is on his way to light his 4th orb. You know what we're closing in on, Triton? And we've seen a lot of it this tournament so far, as Tyerenex is getting stoned.
Was that the Wizzahags?
I couldn't tell. I thought it was the Sharks, because there was 2 of them. There's 2 warriors stoned in that fight.
That may be. Tristal was able to skate by those without much problem.
I wonder if Tyerenex leaves those
Tristle.
warriors stoned. He thought about it. He does not.
I wouldn't mind it, especially with what you have ahead. I don't think the White Mage has a ton of value right now, because the life charges are just in such short supply.
We are approaching, fans. It's the Bridge of Destiny for Tristal. We've seen a lot of Warmechs the entire spring tournament. Get them out. There they are, led by Moist Mogwai, Mama Duck herself. Get your blessed RNGs if you want to see Warmech.
This is probably an encounter Tristal is happy to see. The slime's a good source of experience.
We got Xeno the Rogue rooting for Warmech. We haven't even seen Warmech, and we have fans rooting for Warmech, a fan favorite for sure.
Sorcerer's Mudgulls, originally in the game, might even have been a worse encounter than Warmech because of Translock and Death Touch. One of those that gets slightly better usually in Randomizer.
It's a good experience encounter. Tristal knows this. Fires a couple of lightning 3s and a whack with the Excalibur, and down goes that encounter, 2400 XP. Meanwhile, we're still on the Bridge of Destiny on our way to Tiamat. Here's another encounter, it's the same one. He's going to take this one too.
He's actually gotten less experience in this than I thought he would. I thought he'd be 23 coming in at the end of it. He's not even to 22 yet.
Tyerenex has made his way to the Sharknado room. There's 1, 2, and 3. Does he check any more? He does not. He follows in the footsteps of his opponent, Tristal.
He's going to get the Opal helmet, though, for the additional defense. On this bridge, I think you prefer the slimes. Red Hydras are a favorite of mine just because of how low HP they are. I think they are generally the lowest HP enemy on this bridge, so it's usually a very quick fight for a lot of experience.
Another fight on the Bridge of Destiny, and Jason, Friday the 13th, is pointing this out in chat. This is a lot of fights in the Bridge of Destiny. It's, I think, more good than bad. He's going to run from this one, though.
Yeah, the ears just aren't worth a lot. The Nagas, the angry Nagas are okay. Depends on how much HP they roll, but the airs are usually high on HP, low on XP.
Tristal trying to light his 4th orb. Opens up with a Fire 3 and a hit from the X-Cal. 4 hits, 66 damage. He didn't have the fast off. We'll see what happens in the second round. A Fade is resisted. Only 91 damage. Here comes round 2. Tristal's going to go through some tempers. He's going all damage into Tiamat. It's another strike from the Excalibur. 240 damage. Tiamat tries to fight back. But Tiamat is on the ropes. Tristal going to take her out pretty quick.
Tiamat very vulnerable to poison smoke. About a 20% chance, I believe, so it's a good play to make, especially with a white mage who's not going to do that much damage just hitting it. But that's orb number 4 for Tristal.
Just got blazed by Kraken. He's down to 1 main light warrior. 545 damage gets it done. Level 17 for Tyerenex. 1 hour, 27 minutes and change. TristalMTG has 4 orbs left.
But I'd love to see him. I would have loved to see him go to Sky Castle with just 1 knight and the Black Mage.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's your best chance if you think you're behind. Be a higher level. Go ahead.
We're going to call it 1 hour, 28 minutes. The former champion looking to regain his title has entered the Temple of Fiends Revisited here in round 1. 5 weeks of the Swiss rounds. Runs into gas dragons, gets ambushed. You almost want to see gaze on them because they can wallop you and do a whole bunch of other things, like in the original game when they had damage poison.
The encounter that broke the experience scale, as I love to call it. They're vulnerable to ice spells, so if he had casted some ice 3s there, he probably could have gotten another level off those 2 encounters. I mean, he almost certainly would have.
Dragon armor! Validation chest. TristalMTG finds the dragon armor!
If you weren't feeling confident enough before, that certainly helps.
2,000 years in the past, nearing the 90-minute mark. Tristal runs into unrunnable zombie dragons. He's got to take this fight. He's going to use a couple of resources, but he's going to try to minimize it. He's going to use Harm 3 and the Mage Staff to take them out. Meanwhile, Tyerenex is treading ground that Tristal skipped. He's in the first floor of Mirage, checking chests. We know that the Mazmoon has not been located, as well as the defense sword.
Yeah, Tristal was eyeing Fire 3, but it's just not an option because you can't give up the temper charges. Dragon Armor, to answer chat, does indeed resist your main elements, so fire, lightning, and ice.
Big run for Tristal. He's closing in on the Earth floor. 1 more floor to go. Tyerenex circumnavigating the Mirage Tower. Does he check greater than less than? We do not know the contents of those chests. We know there's a 3rd ribbon out there, though, too.
We don't know if Tristal will switch Vorpal in place of X-Scal for the last 3 Fiends.
I know the answer. I studied Tristal quite well. And if I know this gentleman as well as I think I do, he will do that. We'll find out.
Back in the vanilla game, there was no comparison between the two because of how the game was pulling crit data. The X-Scal was a clear number 2 to Masamune. When weapons fixes are on, Vorpal's going to crit a whole lot more often than the X-Scal is.
Lich 2, there's a strike from the Vorpal with 4 hits. After a hit from the Excalibur, Lich fires back Blaze. It's not going to take out any Light Warriors. We're going to go to round 2. The Fiend refight. I can't think Lich is going to be standing much longer, but he gets initiative, and he starts poking at Tristal. That's a bad idea with Lightning 2.
Yeah, the spell list, you wonder how deep it is, and you're a little scared to see too many turns, but if for some reason you had to redo Lich, that was a pretty good battle that you're not going to be too worried about on a rematch.
Tristal has moved on to the fire floor. A date with the potential easy lover, Carry 2, on the horizon. Meanwhile, Tyerenex is starting to step on it. He's in the floating fortress on his way to his 4th orb.
A question in chat about levels and magic defense. While the black belt does get more magic defense than everybody else on a level up, the other characters do, in fact, get magic defense on level ups. So yes, if you took your party to a really high level, you would absolutely see the difference every time a spell came out. We saw Red Giants had status poison, so we've seen both variations of that today.
Tristal switches up his party, puts the Red Wizard in front. He's a little precautionary move. He's got the Knight in the second slot. And he's going to use Dice 3. He's just going to do some damage. There's 54. Carry attacks and wallops the Red Wizard, but doesn't quite take him out. Fade for 288. Gets the fast off, and here comes a strike from the Excalibur and the Knight. 442 damage. Carry is terminated.
That is exactly what he changed that party order for, to protect the fighter from that first round hit from Carry in theory. The theory worked out in practice this time. Of course, we know that the damage wasn't enough that he would have had to have worried on the Knight, but you don't know that going into the fight, so you gotta make long-term decisions. That's exactly what Tristal did.
Look at the run. No encounters other than that one seafood party pack for Tristal as he closes in on Kraken 2. Tyerenex is closing in on the Bridge of Destiny. He's one floor away. 1 hour 33 minutes, it's the fight with Kraken 2. Same sort of party lineup, the Red Wizard's in front. Gets a fast off after initiative for the Excalibur and starts the attack. It's a nuke for 314, that's huge. Followed up by a fade, 113. Kraken fires stop, and it hits the Knight. But the Knight gets back up. Round 2.
Over 300 HP, so it's going to be an instant re-up.
293. A Lightning 3, 118. Tristal makes it look easy. Kraken 2 is terminated.
A fantastic roll from that nuke cast set that up. That was great damage, and just left Kraken 2 without much.
Tyerenex is on the Bridge of Destiny. He's about to light his 4th orb. If Tristal does not finish this right here, we are going to be in a dead even heat as he's struggling with purple worms. They paralyzed his Knight. He's got to get out of this. They're starting to pound him.
You definitely don't want to be worm food.
He gets away. Tiamat 2. Tyerenex closing in on Tiamat 1. Tyerenex is at Tiamat 1. He's about to light his 4th orb. TristalMTG going for the victory. He's initiated the fight with Tiamat 2.
The rare Tia high five.
124. Tiamat does a physical attack into the Black Wizard. Black Wizard standing. Fade for 114. He gets a fast off into the Knight. And then the Knight strikes 7 hits. 298. Tristal's got to like what he sees.
Yeah, you want to be able to hit these because the more you're hitting them, the more you're critting them too, so all damage is good damage.
Tristal starting to dig into Tiamat 2. Tiamat 2 fires back with only a Lightning 2. We're going to move on to another round unless the Excalibur can do it, which it does. 8 hits, 621, dominating for Tristal. Tyerenex has his 4th orb lit now.
That's the Exhale showing exactly what it's capable of. And Tristal practicing what I preach. He knows this well himself. You never take for granted that you won't get into another fight after one of these Fiends. Always heal up before you take the first step.
We saw a player earlier in the tournament not do this, and it cost him. Tristal is on the floor of the Ultimate Fiend Chaos. This is Tristal's match to win. 1 hour, 35 minutes and change. Tyerenex is on his way to the Ultimate Final Dungeon. We haven't seen much. We haven't seen the nuclear. We haven't seen the nuke. We haven't seen any type of slow 2, cure 4. Does Chaos hold them? Did Warmack have them? Were they buried on Lich? What's he doing for weapons, Trenton?
He's moved the Vorpal, and he's moved the Sun Sword. So he's got Vorpal on the Knight, he's got Sun Sword on the Red Wizard. He's moved the ribbons around, I think, to be on the Knight for a little bit better protection against magic.
He's going to wall the Black Wizard. He's going to the Power Gauntlet for the Vorpal Wielder. Gets the wall off, and oh gosh! A nuke from Chaos right off the bat. Tristal is still standing, but he is hurt. And he's hurt bad, Trenton.
Yeah, those are some huge rolls from the nuke. He gonna cast the heal spells. Cure for the Knight I agree with. Gonna bring out heal 2 for everybody, that's just not gonna do a lot.
Tyerenex is shopping In Canary, he's headed towards the Temple of Fiends Revisited. Tristal is on the final boss. He gets the Cure 4 off into the White Wizard. There's the stop. It hits the Red Wizard, but misses everybody else.
Now a chance to get the tempers up. I'd love to Cure 4 here. There he goes.
Yep. Power Gauntlet. Does he get the Cure 4 off? He gets the Temper off. He gets the Cure 4 off. Great initiative for Tristal. Oh, no! There's another nuke from Chaos! The Black Wizard's gone! The White Wizard is down to 68 HP after a Fire 2. He's gonna attack. It's the Vorpal. 8 hits for 1,000 damage from the Vorpal! One more round of that, and Chaos will not be standing! There's the Cure 4! Chaos attacks and goes after the Knight. He knows that's the Vorpal wielder. Doesn't matter! 7 hits, 782! TristalMTG is your winner. 1 hour, 37 minutes, 8 seconds!
Tristal entered this Temple of Fiends 9 minutes ago. Went through it in fantastic fashion like the pro he is. Saves the world. Takes down Chaos. Closes the time loop. And advances to 1-0.
Execution. Trenton, we saw it all game long. He loves Castle Ordeal. He'll always go to Castle Ordeal first. He made the play to move to the crit machine, the Vorpal at the end, given what it was that he had. He played it well. He got double nuked. And he still took out Chaos.
To me, this all started for Tristal with that Peninsula power grind, because what it set him up to do was not just completing Ice Cave, but he was finishing all these dungeons faster than Tyerenex was able to do. And that is the difference right now. 9 minutes between them getting in here. That's 2 minutes here, 2 minutes there. That's exactly what Tristal did.
Tristal is walking down the hallway, headed towards the broadcast booth right now. He's going to be right here. And that's actually going to be the first question that we're going to ask him about the decision to go to the Peninsula Power. Why did he do it? What were the circumstances involving making that Peninsula Power move? Meanwhile, congratulations and GG's. Tristal moving to 1-0. How do you feel?
Oh, I am still shaken. That Chaos was insane.
The double nukes coming after we hadn't seen anything dangerous from the other Fiends. You always know something like that is a possibility, but to actually see it...
Yeah, I'm glad I prepared correctly this time by equipping the correct weapon instead of Excalibur this time against Chaos, because I've made that mistake in the past. If I had Excalibur equipped here, I don't think I would have got the job done.
That crit damage was obviously big, but when you were coming in, Will was talking about what I think was the biggest difference in this game. Because you did that Peninsula power grind, you just kept doing dungeons faster than Tyerenex did, starting with the Ice Cave. He wasn't able to finish Ice Cave first time. He didn't go back there till after the Airship.
Yeah, that's exactly why I went and grinded from 8 to 13, knowing that either Ice Cave or Volcano held the key, so to speak, to progression. Level 8 just doesn't cut it in either of those, unless you just have unbelievable amounts of fate and nuke charges, which I didn't really have. So yeah, I knew that grinding somewhere was going to be a big help in the rest of the game, and it sort of butterfly effects through the rest of the run. Even though in the end I was sort of a little under-leveled. Imagine how poor I would have been had I not done that grind at all. I would have maybe done grind on Eyes for a long time in Ice Cave had I been able to make it there, but yeah, it would have been a real problem had I not done that.
Tristal, it's Will. Earth
Hey,
Cave. Earth Cave.
Yeah.
You ran into some Eye Mages, damage, poison, fire 2. You couldn't get away from them. They ambush you. You get down to the White Wizard. Tell us about what was going through your mind and how in the world you made that happen.
Yeah, I knew I had bought Harm 3 ahead of time, so even if I had run out of Fade charges, I figured the White Wizard could kind of get it done by herself. Cure 4 would get past most of the random enemies, even just packs of images with the ribbon weren't going to do enough damage to kill her unless I tried to run and failed too many times. So that's I figured out I should just try and kill the images instead of going for that long shot, failing to run a few times in a row. A lot of times when that sort of thing happens, you just kind of reflexively reset. because you're like, oh man, I'm down to one party member. This is just a disaster. But I have a habit of always aggressively disrespecting Lich. So if I can kill Lich with one party member, one white wizard of all people, I'm definitely going to make that happen.
We have Tyerenex about to do battle with Kraken 2. We saw the Krakens not be very big on their HP today.
K2 felt like it had some beef to it, but luckily it didn't just crack in Honda, the White Wizard or something like that. Even though I guess I had redundant life on the Red Wizard. Still nice to not just get completely destroyed by any of the Fiends.
Yeah, it was pretty tight, Tristal. You were getting nuked by Chaos the first time, as your opponent Tyerenex was gathering heal potions in Canaria, making his way towards the Temple of Fiends Revisited. But you survived the double nuke, as Tyerenex survives Kraken 2. He's moving on to the Echo of the Floating Castle. He's going to try to finish this out.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely got a little lucky in the nuke damage from Chaos both times, because it could have easily just wiped my White Wizard, and then I would have been totally, in trouble. So I'm glad I healed in the ways that I did in order to keep White Wizard and Knight alive, and that gave me the out I needed to try and get the Vorpal kill.
Well, Tristal, while we have you here and we wait for Tyerenex to go on to Tiamat and then Chaos, why don't you just put on your tournament director hat a little bit here and just tell the folks what we have ahead.
So after the next race tonight on Speed Gaming 3, we will have the Round 2 reveal show, and that will not only include everyone's pairings for the week, but also we will get to see who is the captain and who gets to walk the plank.
And where can we watch that, Tristal?
And that, of course, will be at twitch.tv/TristalMTG.
Thank you very much. That is our tournament director, TristalMTG. Thank you for everything that it is that you do as Tyerenex continues to take on Tiamat 2. Not anymore. Tyerenex takes out Tiamat 2. We know that this upcoming Chaos battle is not going to be easy. It is a double nuke Chaos, and he likes to use it. Tier 4s are going to play a pivotal role, as will the dual knight strategy for Tyerenex. He moves one knight down, he's rearranging his party. That's going to be his main knight on the bottom. His name is DPS. We call him the Killer. As he starts to go through his spells... Ooh.
He just doesn't have a lot in the way of spells, and I think a lot's going to come down to, does this White Mage survive nuke number 1?
115 from the Excalibur gets the fast off and a power gauntlet into his main killer. Chaos has nuclear. The nuclear skill. Chaos is also radioactive. Fires nuclear. Oh no.
Off the skill list, so it doesn't count against the nukes. That's why we didn't see it before.
Vorpal swing 513 from the Vorpal, uses a Cure 4. Gets another temporal off into the Vorpal wielder. Chaos smashes the top knight. That's what Tyerenex wanted. He's going to start to fire tempers more into his Vorpal wielder, and he gets it off into DPS. There's the nuke. That's the first one. Red Wizard's gone. Black Wizard's gone. White Wizard's gone. Vorpal gets the job done. 696. Congratulations to Tyerenex. Made it look easy. 1 hour. 45 minutes, 23 seconds.
A big night for Team Vorpal. Seeing the double kills there. That could have been a very different fight if Chaos had started off with the nuke cast. But wow, the double Duke nuclear Chaos. If he had had an extra 1,000 HP, this would have been a rough time. That was already cutting it close.
Tyerenex is always looks like he's. We're gonna chit chat with Tyerenex. We're gonna see if I don't know if he wants to join us tonight. I'm gonna chit chat with him real quick. Tristal, I wanted to ask you real quick. Your choice of heading to Castle Ordeal paid off in the floater. Can you tell us, the fans, and us certainly, a little bit about your thought process, why you did it?
Mostly it was just closer. The other option was to head over to the northwest continent and clean up. There were still 3 towns I didn't know of, one of which was Crescent Lake, so could have led to progression. And then there's Waterfall, of course, and I did have the exit spell, but really just Ordeal was closer. And if Ordeal happened to have the floater, that would have gained me a little bit of time compared to the other options. So yeah, that was really my thought process on that. Plus, get maybe a level or so, depending on if things are unrunnable in there.
And it looks like Tyerenex has decided to pass on a post-game interview. He never saw the nuclear, obviously, and then a couple of nukes. He was able to get the job done with the game changer as his opponent, TristalMTG, did. Tristal moves to 1-0 on this penultimate match of the first round here in the 2019 Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. Coming up, we've got the final match. It's the Encore! 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be on this very same channel. It's on Speed Gaming 3. The infectious Wukliosis puts the headset down and picks up the controller as the veteran for once, as he takes on the newcomer, Wraith Hates Caleb. We call him Caleb. Once again, coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tonight, right here on Speed Gaming 3.
Yeah, and by the way, Will, I want to congratulate you on the podcast you did with Wraith Hates Caleb. I did take a listen to that. That was really entertaining. And I think there are a couple links in the Discord to that kind of thing, so hopefully everybody can enjoy that one as well.
Oh, thank you very much, Tristal, especially coming from you. You know how much I respect you. And we're going to get to a little bit more about that during the match tonight. Wraith Hates Caleb, we don't really know a lot about the gentleman. I probably know the most in interacting with him because we had to set up a match. But he's a podcaster. He talks about Final Fantasy Randomizer. He's been watching it for a year and a half. He's been watching me, listening to me. He's been studying Tristal. I know that. He mentioned him by name. And we don't know a lot about him, and that makes me a little bit nervous, personally, in a competitive sense. But no matter what, we're certainly going to have fun. Coming up at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and links to that podcast that we did promote, all the promotions, are available in our Discord. We're going to put a link in the chat right now, and if you're watching this later on YouTube, FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, all of the information that you might need.
With that, we'll start to bring things to a close. Thank you so much for Vin getting used to this whole tracking thing. Mo, Most Magway, Mama Duck, working the tracking today. We've had a lot of people pitch in through this first round of the tournament, and I just want to say thank you to everyone. I also want to take a moment to say, if I can talk, a special thanks to Wukliosis. Not only has he been such a presence here on the mic, but for those of you who don't see the behind the scenes, I had to step away for a little while this week, and Wukliosis really stepped in just to make sure the scheduling was getting done, getting the crews lined up, getting these broadcasts on the air, and I really want to thank him for those efforts.
Pleasure to be here. I learned from the best. I learned playing this game from our winner tonight, Tristal. Watched him very intently and learned everything from you, from the broadcast booth to leadership. Also, certainly behind the scenes, and shout out to our crew. Lord Fizzlebeef doing double duty, Moist Mogwai, everything she does, Falconic's done 4 or 5 shows in this tournament, and everyone stepping up. Some of the new players, the Goudas, the undefeated Gouda, by the way, stepping up, joining in crew, and just having fun, because that's what we do here in Final Fantasy Randomizer, and it's been great, and we got a whole bunch more time and weeks going on to this. It's been quite a success so far, just like last year's tournament was. And we're just having an absolute blast. We're going to go ahead and move on to final thoughts. Tristal, moving to 1-0. Thoughts on either this match tonight or anything looking forward in the tournament?
Yeah, I'm happy to get that first win out of the way. It's always a struggle if you start out from 0-1. But at the same time, condolences to everybody else in the 0-1 bracket. Sorry I had to put Tyerenex in there because, he's just going to tear it up. He might just go 4-1 anyway. This seed went reasonably well. I'm glad. I think I've gotten enough practice in to where I'm really comfortable with the seed. Being able to realize I wanted to go to Power Peninsula early on was key, of course. So, looking forward to the coming weeks. We'll see what happens with a different captain and a different walk the plank. So, yeah, hopefully that'll change it up a little bit, keep everybody on their toes.
Thank
All that-
you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Tristal, and thank you for the work you've done in getting us organized for this tournament.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm happy everything's working out so well so far.
That will be coming up tonight after the encore match, which starts right here on Speed Gaming 3 at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/TristalMTG. The pairings, the matchups that are becoming, of course, the walk the plank, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. We'd like to thank Speed Gaming, specifically Speed Gaming 3, and everyone who helps us out to host us tonight, this evening, afternoon, wherever in the world you are on YouTube, so that we can bring our great game and our great competitors and our incredible show to you, the fans. Trenton, great to work with you. Thank you for stepping in. An honor and pleasure to work with you.
Always fun, Will. You know we're going to have a blast. We've had a couple dozen people step up so far in this tournament to help make all these broadcasts happen. I don't have enough time to thank each and every one of you, but please believe me when I say I appreciate everyone who has stepped into any role we have had in this tournament, be it a restreamer, a commentator, a tracker, or just hanging out in chat and having fun. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, everybody, for spending this portion of your Saturday with us, and have a great rest of your day.